Okay, so what kind of situation do we have at the moment in the market? Now, on USD CHF, we have a market that clearly had very strong previous support here, against support here, now turned resistance at this area. So, from a monthly perspective, previous support now turned resistance, which the market is still holding. Perfect. Let's go down on the weekly and see what situation we have from a weekly perspective. Now, on the weekly, we have a completely different scenario because the structure from a weekly perspective is actually to the upside at the moment. We have the left shoulder here, the head here, and the market has the right shoulder here, with this support is still holding. So on the weekly, we have support. On the monthly, we have resistance. It's already enough to be very careful when it comes to this pair. We go down from a daily point of view, and we have to be realizing that the contradictions that there are at the moment on the monthly and weekly are perfectly reflected in the price action that we're seeing from a daily point of view. In fact, on the daily, we have a market that is consolidating inside of this wedge formation, and at the moment is very, very close to having to basically being in the situation in which it's forced to decide if it wants to break to the upside or to the downside. Now, eh, that we can't predict because, as we said, we have our weekly and monthly that are showing two completely different opposite directions. But before speaking about how we will be approaching this pair with students, let's go and see what situation we have from a COT perspective. So, what hedge funds are doing at the moment on a USD and what they're doing at the moment on the CHF. Let's see what they have in their positioning. So what we can clearly see from a COT perspective is that with the last reports, 1K longs have been added on the CHF and hedge funds closed 1K shorts, bringing net positions at 8.7K, meaning that we have longs outweighing shorts with 13.6K longs and 4.9K short positions on the CHF. So CHF, we can expect it to get stronger. If we go and see what we have from a USD point of view, we can see that on the USD we have net positions that increased a lot, where we went from 7K to 17K, so a 10K increase in the net positions of the USD, which now has 24K longs and 7K shorts from an institutional perspective on it, with a long exposure of 77.9% and short exposure of 22.9%. So long exposure a greatly outweighing the short exposure, which is not that great because, as we said, it means that a USD is getting stronger and CHF is getting stronger as well. And that is the reason for which we see this reflected in a wedge formation. Now, at the moment, since there aren't good probabilities nor good risk to reward on this pair for any trading opportunities, we will not be looking for any with students. But things might change in the future. In fact, breaking to the upside on USD CHF would mean that we break above the monthly resistance, which anyway will take time. So we have time for that, and I will be making an update if USD CHF breaks to the upside. So we will review the situation. But what could happen quickly is if the market actually manages to make a strong move to the downside. If the market makes an impulse to the downside and breaks all the daily wedge and the weekly structure, at that point we have the monthly, which was already bearish. We will have the weekly that USD CHF will have broken its structure to the downside. So at that point, the weekly and monthly are showing both a bearish scenario. The daily obviously has already broken the wedge, so it's showing a bearish structure and price action. And at that point, we would have good probabilities because on the retest of the area, we would have a very nice confluence of resistance from a multi-time frame analysis perspective. And obviously, we will see that reflected also in the COT data. And how we will be approaching this pair with students, we will be monitoring price action from a 4-hour perspective inside of this area, waiting for the market to provide to us one of our valid entries. And as soon as the market will provide to us one of our valid entries, we will be taking a nice short with a good risk to reward and good probabilities for the move to the downside and to go and test this strong demand area given by this red candle here. Now, if you enjoyed this free analysis and education, make sure you drop a like and a comment. It really does support the creation of more free education and analysis for all of you, and I will see you in the next video.